How do you leave a child out of your last will and testament? Or specifically, how do you disinherit somebody from your last will and testament? Unfortunately, for whatever reason, there are some times when parents want to specifically disinherit a child. And it could be for a number of reasons. It could be that they believe that child actually has enough money and doesn't need any of their estate, which can be absolutely a great idea, freeing up assets to go to a charity or to the other children who may actually benefit from the money. Another reason is the child may just be, unfortunately, not that good of a person and may have been abusive, or for whatever reason, they have a really estranged relationship now, and the parent does not believe that that child should inherit anything from their estate. Whatever the reason is, there has been a lot of debate on how to specifically do that in a last will and testament. And you've probably seen in the movies and on TV where they have the reading of the will in a lawyer's office with big leather chairs and lots of books and lots of wood, and everybody is seated in front of the lawyer's desk, and he's got a great big huge desk. As they read through the will, they say, "To Joey, I give $1, and then you hear music, dun dun dun. Well, that is probably one of the most familiar ways that people know of how to just give somebody that they actually don't like $1. And honestly, I think it's kind of a little poke too, to let them know specifically that, well, they thought of them and they are only going to give them $1 of the estate. The problem with that, as time has evolved, is that leaving that dollar to that child has actually opened up the probate to them in a bigger way, where if you had just not done it at all. And what I mean by this is, well, you actually intended to give them $1. So they could make the argument that you intended to give them something, and maybe if you had been in your right mind, or if you had not been under the influence of another child or somebody else, maybe that dollar would have been $10,000, $100,000, or $1 million, whatever is in your estate. So you can see that that could actually open up the probate, kind of open a door for them to walk in and make an argument that you actually intended by that dollar to give them a lot more of the estate. In other words, you didn't forget about them, you wanted them to have something. And unfortunately, or fortunately, there have been some cases around the country that have started to back that up, to at least support that argument, and it really depends on which jurisdiction you're in. So like I always say, check with a local estate planning and probate attorney in your area. Just Google estate planning attorney near me or probate attorney near me. What do I think is the more efficient and effective method to disinherit somebody from your estate? Well, you can still put them in your last will and testament, and that is probably still a very good idea. When you go to an estate planning attorney, it'll usually say something like this in your last will and testament. It'll say, "My name is Sandra Smith, and I have 3 children, John Smith, Tom Smith, and Kara Smith." Now, if you want to specifically disinherit your daughter, Kara Smith, then there will be language in your last will and testament that says something to the effect that I acknowledge that I have a daughter named Kara Smith, and I am specifically disinheriting her for purposes of this last will and testament. And when I pass away, under the terms of this last will and testament, it'll be as if she has predeceased me and shall not inherit anything under my estate. Do you see the difference there between leaving Kara $1 and specifically stating Kara Smith is disinherited? I think this is the much more efficient and effective way of disinheriting somebody from your estate. It is also much more efficient to specifically state who you want your assets to go to. So if you want them to go to John Smith and Tom Smith and disinherit Kara Smith, then say that specifically in your last will and testament. And that way you don't open the door for Kara Smith to come in because you gave her a token $1 or token $10. Before you do any of this on your own, make certain that you contact an estate planning attorney or probate attorney near you.